The story begins with Princess Leah Michelli discussing the current operations of their Galite Lion army with General Godwin. As the weather is unfavorable, the plan is to give their troops ample food and rest before proceeding to the designated target the following day. Their goal is to completely defeat the Biscotti Republic. That same night, the elites of Biscotti hold an emergency meeting to discuss the attack on Mion Fortress, where the Lion army is going to attack. Since Biscotti has begun to lose the past few battles, the members are becoming worried about the capture of Felino Castle. Due to the severity of the situation, the Princess of Biscotti suggests using their last option, summoning a hero. Back on Earth, Shinku Izumi is introduced, preparing for school at about 7:55 a.m. He then meets up with Rebecca Anderson by jumping off the room to the road below with a great somersault. The two discuss their plans for the upcoming spring break. Since Shinku's parents are usually on business trips, he announces that his plan is to go home to Cornwall, Britain to see them. Shinku also tells Rebecca that he is planning to train for the Iron Athletics Championship qualifiers in July. His plan is to get advanced enough to achieve a first-place victory, rather than second place like in his previous competition. When the two finally get to school, Shinku explains that his parents will be coming back home for the final few days of spring break, and that she and her family are invited to stay at their house in Wakayama, and that Nanami is also invited. Shinku adds that the cherry trees are blossoming, so it's an ideal time to go. As the two go inside the school, a dog with a sword in its mouth hides around the corner of the school walls, spying on Shinku. Towards the end of the school day, the student president makes a speech on the school stage. Shinku is running outside to take his equipment. When questioned by a teacher, he replies that he is trying to catch a plane. In his thoughts, Shinku reveals that although he likes Japan and the city, it doesn't suit his athletic needs well. When performing acrobatic moves midair off school, the dog appears and stabs the sword into the ground. To Shinku's horror, opens a portal, causing Shinku to fall helplessly into the portal. Despite enduring an uncomfortable ride and falling from a great height, Shinku is soon greeted by a beautiful girl who has pink furry ears and a tail. The girl then introduces herself as Milifiri Farino Biscotti, the princess of the Biscotti Republic, and that he is the hero that she summoned. She adds that he has arrived in the world of Flaniard and Felino territory. Shinku, in response, introduces himself as Shinku Izumi. Just as the princess begins to explain the situation, fireworks explode in the sky, marking the beginning of the battle at Paporo Fortress. She informs him that the Biscotti Republic is at war with a neighboring nation. Down at the battlefield, the Lion Army is laying siege to the Biscotti Fortress. Using a ladder, the Lion Army's troops overwhelm Biscottis, and the gate to Felino is open. Millie introduces Shinku to her Selkul, Harlan, and the two pursue the Lion Army's advance. She explains that Biscotti and Galite have fought numerous times over the previous years, and that since they are losing battles, they have only one chance to prevent capture. As the battle continues, the broadcasting announcers keep live tabs on the battle commencing at the Felino Lake Field, which is proving to be a challenge compared to the 20-minute victory at Paporo Fortress. As the heated battle continues, the members of Biscotti's council are becoming worried about the overwhelming enemy troops, as some have even nearly made it to the course's end but were fought off by Eclair and Lorraine Martinazzi. Confused by the events of the battle, Millie explains to Shinku that combatants do not die or get injured on the battlefield under the rules, and that competitions are usually held for enjoyment. To assist the Biscotti Republic, Shinku accepts the summons of Millie as Biscotti's hero. In return, Millie thanks him, and the two head towards Felino Castle for equipment where maids are waiting for him to armor him up. As word gets out of the hero's appearance, most combatants are surprised. In the end, Princess Milifiri gives a short introduction of the hero, characterizing him as brilliant and spectacular, and Shinku is set on the battlefield. Shinku Izumi, the newly summoned hero, finally reaches the battlefield on the Biscotti end of the course, and is briefed by Lorraine about the battlefield rules and routes. He makes his way towards the offensive end of the course to assist Eclair. Shinku starts off by knocking a great number of opponents and impresses the audience from both sides as his acrobatic reflexes paired with his fighting abilities earn Biscotti more points with his numerous swift knockouts and touchouts, as previously explained by Millie to Shinku. Hitting the opponent really hard turns them into furballs, and the touchouts to head and back provide more points. Back on Earth, Rebecca at school is asked by her friends if she is going to spend the summer with Shinku. To avoid any complex relationship theories, Rebecca informs them it is more due to their parents being friends. In addition, she adds that Shinku is immature, valuing sports and athletics overall. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Eclair is fighting off opponents by using seal cannons, but one of them tries to attack her. Shinku manages to reach Eclair on time and saves her. Eclair is slightly in denial of Biscotti needing a hero. Shinku asks Eclair to teach him about the seal cannons, following Millie's recommendation. Proceeding through each level with ease, the combined seal cannons obliterate all enemy forces in front of them. Suddenly, an arrow is fired at Shinku but is deflected by Eclair, evading the hit. The archer is revealed to be Galette Commander-in-Chief, Leon Galette des Rois, and also the Princess of Galette. After a broad introduction from herself, Leon herself heads towards Biscotti's defense, taking down the archers with overwhelming swiftness. She manages to reach the final defense line until Shinku and Eclair make an aerial intercept, but Leon manages to dodge them. She then unleashes her most powerful emblem arts, with its omnidirectional explosion knocking out most Biscotti as well as her own Galette forces within range. As it seems that Galette has won, it turns out both Shinku and Eclair remain unharmed thanks to Eclair propelling them both in the air with a sword before impact. The two cooperate, making a final clash with Leon, slashing each part of her armor bit by bit until she is left with underclothes. Leon forfeits after being impressed by their attempted strike, earning Biscotti victory. The battle ends with a closing report from the commentators and the final words of Leon and Shinku. Leon then directs the camera's attention to Eclair, but as she catches the mic, her clothes aren't there anymore. This was the result of Shinku's weapon touching Eclair in the battle. Eclair then gives a beating to him afterwards. Princess Millie announces that Biscotti shall celebrate with a banquet and a live concert held by Princess Millie herself. Lorraine then greets Shinku and thanks him for the great help he was in the battle and says he is invited by the princess for the banquet and Thai concert. But Shinku remembers about returning home to tell his parents first. Millie is also discussing the details of the concert with Ricotta. Things come shocking as Shinku and Millie separately learn at the same time. Once a hero is summoned to Flaniard, he cannot return back. Since the Biscotti won the battle with a great lead and even after multiple losses, they are celebrating. The commentators move their directions towards Captain Lorraine where he gives his reviews on the battle, but as the crew asks for the hero, he changes the topic because Shinku is all gloomy after the heartbreaking news of not getting back to Earth. Meanwhile, Millie is also concerned about him as she is the one who brought him to Flaniard, where her secretary Emilda tells her to focus on the concert for now as Ricotta is trying to find a way for his return. Shinku is sitting with Eclair and the dog, complaining about him not being able to return. Eclair inquires how he arrived in Flaniard. Shinku responds by pointing everything towards the dog that it was his fault. The dog then stands up and makes the same portal circle he made while his summoning. Eclair reads the circle which states that if you come through this portal you will not be able to return, which proves to be a consent from Shinku although it wasn't his fault. Shinku makes a sad face, but then Eclair gives him a sack of money. As Shinku asks, Eclair responds that it's the reward for his help during the battle. Shinku and Eclair then shop for food and Shinku is confused about how the world works and why people don't die here. Eclair explains to him that in this world the kingdoms fight by managing contests. Both sides have to offer equal amounts of money for the contest, and whoever wins gets 60% of the total amount while the loser receives 40%. After that, the kingdom uses half of the money on buildings and construction while half of it is split between people depending on their participation during the battle. Moreover, people die during the battle because they are in a protective area, but if they battle out of the protective area like forests or roads, they will die for sure. Eclair then takes him to meet Ricotta. Ricotta makes apologies for bringing him to this world and takes all the blame on herself as she didn't tell the consequences to the princess. Ricotta also introduces herself as the chief researcher of Biscotti and asks for more time to find a way for him to get back. Shinku then reveals that he has to reach prior to summer, which leaves him with 16 days in total. Ricotta's reaction is a smile as it's enough time for her. Shinku then flips out his phone and asks Ricotta to take him to the portal where he may be able to catch some signals from Earth. Shinku tries to force his way through the portal but makes no progress. Ricotta brings one of her signal machines that they use to contact each other like a phone. As she turns on the machine, network signals appear on Shinku's phone. Shinku then thanks Ricotta and calls Rebecca. Rebecca is reading a book, but she soon picks up the phone as she sees Shinku's call. As they both talk about each other's well-being, Shinku tells her not to worry about him because he may not be able to contact her for a period of days as his phone is faulty, but he assures her that he will contact her soon. Shinku then ends the call to ask Ricotta if he can make more calls. Ricotta responds yes, but then she takes more interest in his phone and gets all excited. She wants to open the phone up to see how it works as it is a new device for her. But the warranty will get void, so Shinku is not up for that suggestion. Amidst their struggle for the phone, Eclair is on a phone call with Lorraine, informing him about the hero's stay here for 16 days. Lorraine responds that he'll tell this to the princess, so she stops worrying about it. Lorraine breaks the good news to the princess, reducing her mental pressure. But she still wants to tell her sorry to the hero some other time. Millie moves to the rehearsals for the concert where she thinks about Leon and how she always used to watch her sing and they were good friends, but why did she change into a battle-thirsty ruler? Meanwhile, Leon is drinking in her tent where the maid asks her if she wants to go to the concert, but she answers with a no and asks about the whereabouts of her brother Gaul. Eclair is taking Shinku and Ricotta to the concert hall where Ricotta tells Shinku to take a bath before the concert. Ricotta tells her to follow the signs to find the bath in the castle. Shinku tries to understand the signs and follows them along, but then he stumbles upon the bathroom. He hurries inside without noticing the sign that says that it's a girl's toilet and the princess is currently bathing in it. As he enters bare naked, the princess is already there bathing. Both of them get embarrassed looking at each other, and then Shinku says his apology, tries to run out but trips by a bucket into the pool. Then he holds his breath under the pool until the princess leaves the bath. Then at the door of the bath, the princess calls his name and tells him that she wants to talk about something important with him after the concert, to which Shinku agrees and she leaves. Shinku is wondering if he really got into the wrong bathroom. Suddenly he hears a scream from outside. He wears clothes and gets out quickly to see Princess Millie getting captured by one of the groups from the Lion Army. The group consists of 3 girls, who introduce themselves as the secret intelligence unit called Genoese of the Lion Army. The media is also covering the act where the Genoese challenges Shinku to save the princess before the concert where she is going to sing. They are holding a high-profile abduction recapture battle with 200 men ready to fight, and Gull wants to battle the hero one-on-one. Shinku, having no other choice, accepts the challenge. As Shinku gets ready and runs after them, Eclair dashes towards him, and as soon as he could complete his sentence, she kicks him hard into a pillar. Shinku asks why she kicked him. Then Eclair responds that there was no need to accept the challenge, since Gull wanted the hero to accept the challenge, therefore it was a setup to kidnap the princess. They would have left the princess anyway if he didn't accept the challenge. Lorraine and Emilda are discussing the situation, where Lorraine assures Emilda that they will get the princess back here on time before the concert. Soon a small dog approaches them carrying a letter. Shinku with Ricotta and Eclair are riding their Selkle towards the battlefield. Shinku is not having an easy time riding his Selkle as he never rode one before, but then he motivates himself and the others that he is going to keep fighting for the princess and the kingdom. From afar, a woman is noticing them, and another girl comes to her calling her Brioche and asks her if there is anything interesting, and she responds by calling her Yukikaze. There may be another battle. On the battlefield, the Lion Army men are waiting for the hero and the others, while Gull is having a munch and discussing the battle with his General Godwin. He offers Godwin a drink too, and Godwin asks him about the Princess Millie and how she is doing. Gull responds that he has a surprise for her. The princess is sitting all worried and depressed in a room where Rouge with the other maids enter the room with a lioness and 2 cubs. Millie gets all excited to meet the female lion named Vernon with her cubs. She says that she is glad to meet Vernon after a long time and pets them. Rouge then tells Millie that Gull wants to have a talk with her. Millie responds with a yes. Then she talks with Vernon the lioness that her master Leon and she were really good friends, and then why did she change into such a battlehead? Soon Shinku and Eclair appear riding their Selkle towards the battlefield. Eclair then reveals that there was a warrior a time ago who also battled and defeated more than 200 men of the Lion Army all on his own, and that's how we are going to defeat them too. As they draw their weapons, the captain from the other side raises to the Lion Army to attack towards the hero with all their might, but suddenly explosives appear from the sky, defeating a number of the Lion Army. The captain is confused to see that the Biscottis have explosive power on the battlefield, but how? As it turns out, Ricotta is the one who is using small cannons scattered in the woods with her seal power. She deals great damage to the Lion Army, where Shinku and Eclair are sweeping through the army. Brioche and Yukikaze are still sitting afar looking at the sight and enjoying the battle. Meanwhile, Lorraine gives a letter to the dog to take it to its master. Back at the battlefield, Shinku and Eclair enter the fort, but they are surrounded by a large number of the Lion Army. As they are trying to fight them off, Millie is watching them from the mirror when Gull meets her. Gull gives her apology to Millie that he never wanted to kidnap her, as she is a friend of him and her sister and he just wanted to battle the hero. That's why he is doing all of this. Eclair and Shinku are stuck in a large number of army when Godwin appears. Meanwhile, Ricotta also surrenders as she is captured by the Lion Army. General Godwin also suggests Shinku and Eclair to surrender too, or else he will have to make them surrender. Godwin grabs his weapon that's a giant axe and a boulder. Shinku and Eclair are surrounded, but both simultaneously say to each other that the other one should go ahead while he or she stops them. They both start arguing with each other about who will go ahead and who will stay. As the argument goes on and on, General Godwin gets angry as to why they are ignoring him. Godwin launches his boulder towards them. Shinku comes in front and tries to block it but struggles to hold it, and soon both of them smash into the pillar. Godwin laughs, brags about his power, and tries to make another strike with his axe to finish them off, but at the right moment a spinning sword comes in front to block it off. The sword is from Brioche as she stands there to assist them and says that she's sorry to interrupt, but there were no other option. From the tower, the Lion Army archers are pointing their arrows towards her, but then she cuts the top of the tower off. Meanwhile, Yukikaze is also getting rid of a great number of Lion Army, and she is about to introduce herself as the Secret Service ninja, but she is interrupted by the opposing captain. She then punches him to a good height and then stabs him with her knife into a furball. As soon as she is finished, Ricotta comes running towards her saying that she has gathered all the explosives and they are all set. Ricotta gets on Yukikaze's back and she uses her seal to jump really high and they move over the area of the battlefield. Here Ricotta and Yukikaze throw the explosives and use their seal spell together to activate the explosives. The explosives start to land on the battlefield, damaging a great number of opponents. Eclair and Shinku ride on their Selkle and ask Brioche to cover them. Brioche agrees and fights off with the lion army where Godwin appears and taunts for a fight. Meanwhile, Leon is also getting ready in her tent to set off to stop his brother Gaul as she doesn't want him to destroy a kingdom. Shinku also comes across Gaul where he is waiting for him for a fight. Gaul and Shinku get into a clash and start their fight. Eclair is also getting caught in a fight with Genoese, the group who kidnapped the princess. All three of these girls get offended as Eclair calls them idiots. They also start nonsense about Eclair and say names to her, then point their weapons towards her. Shinku and Gaul make a cut on each other's clothes, a start of a real fight. Princess Millie is also watching them fight in the mirror, all worried about Shinku. Eclair is having a hard time fighting the three girls as they look like they are idiots, but they are in fact really powerful. One of the girls shoots an arrow at her which she blocks and deflects into a building. Eclair is thinking she can't hold them much longer. Shinku and Gaul are fighting a mega battle where they both are trying to keep up with each other. As the fight continues, both of their weapons break, so Gaul gets off from his Selkle and uses his seal spell to make claws like aura on his hands and feet. Gaul then launches a rapid burst of attacks at Shinku. Shinku tries to keep up but is smashed into the wall by Gaul. As a result, less control in this attack. Gaul also gets his head hit into the wall too. Gaul thinks that he has won and defeated Shinku with his strongest attack, but Shinku gets back up to Gaul's shock. Gaul looks at him closely because he should have been obliterated by his attack. He notices the ends of Shinku's stick which are in rough condition, which means that Shinku was blocking all of Gaul's attack by the ends of his broken weapon. Gaul is giving applause to him as soon a leakage of blood comes out of Shinku's head. Gaul asks him to take rest as there is blood coming out of his head, but Shinku is persistent. Shinku then uses his seal power and copies the same technique that Gaul used. Shinku then strikes Gaul and yells that he will take the princess back to her singing concert on time. Gaul, surprised, asks what concert, but Shinku is not listening. In the meantime, as Brioche is giving Godwin a hard time because she is too powerful for Godwin, Yukikaze and Ricotta from the fort walls shout to Brioche that Princess Leon is coming this way. One of the men open the gate for Leon to enter. As Leon approaches, Brioche gives her gratitude to Leon and says we meet after a long time. Leon tells Brioche to stop this fight and move away as she will handle everything else with Gaul. But Brioche disagrees as this is a battlefield and she is not the one to back off and Leon is her enemy right now. Leon and Brioche point their weapons and get ready for a fight. They are on par fighting with each. Brioche then asks Leon how shy she is now, always attacking Biscotti a lot more. Leon responds that she is doing it because the contest is entertainment, not the other stuff that Biscotti does like singing concerts and swimming competitions, which are too boring for her. Leon then uses her seal power and strikes with a powerful attack, smashing Brioche into a wall and falling to the ground as she surrenders. Meanwhile, the fight between Gaul and Shinku is still underway where Leon comes breaking through the wall and yells, "What are you two idiots doing?" Shinku and Gaul stop the fight and start apologizing to Leon. But Leon, not considering an apology, smacks the heck out of them and the three girls. Leon then takes all of them in front of Princess Millie where she apologizes to her because of Gaul's idiotic act of fighting the hero and the hero going along with it. Leon then leaves by saying that you should leave for the concert now. Afterwards, Gaul also gives her apology to Millie as he didn't know there was a concert. Then they discuss how they will be able to take her to the concert on time as there's only an hour remaining and the distance is a lot. Shinku then thinks of his fight with Gaul and remembers how he used his seal power to enhance his ability. Shinku then tells everyone that he is going to take Millie to the concert on time, asks Millie to get on his back. Then he jumps out of the window by using his seal power. He is dashing through the route by using his seal power. Soon Yukikaze approaches her, says her gratitude to the princess and introduces her to Shinku as Biscotti's rank 1 ninja. Yukikaze suggests to Shinku that he transfer the princess to her back if he is tired. But Shinku says thanks a lot for the suggestion, but he can take care. Shinku then expands his seal power and makes a flying hoverboard, then sprints through the air riding the hoverboard, leaving Yukikaze amazed. Behind, in midair, Millie tells Shinku that she thinks she is the worst ruler after his father and cannot do anything properly, but Shinku backs her up by saying that she is a good ruler and works hard for the kingdom and nobody can change that, giving a smile to her face. Shinku and Millie then land on the road and sprint through the route. Princess Millie arrives backstage where Emilda is waiting for her to get her ready. Millie then goes to the stage and sings a song which is really melodious to everyone, and all of them are enjoying it. Lorraine is on call with Eclair to inform that Princess Millie has reached on time, and also Shinku is a little worn out because of using too much of the seal power. Shinku, while lying down, can also hear her singing and is enjoying it bit by bit. Later, the Biscotti army is shown traveling to the palace to reclaim their rewards for fighting in the previous wars. The priest calls upon the head captain Lorraine to claim his prize. Shinku praises the formal way of addressing the warriors. After Millie gives Lorraine the prize, Eclair is next on the list. When she gets in front, Millie tells her that she is the most valuable member of the force since she helped Shinku all she could. She then pets her head and tells her to keep up the good work. The next day at the kitchen, Shinku goes to the cafe to acquire food, and when he is served the food, Shinku compliments the food and mentions that it has a really sweet aroma. There, Ricotta starts smelling the food, and seeing this, Shinku questions why do females really like sweet things, to which Ricotta mentions that sweets are a necessary ingredient to keep his brain functioning properly. On their way, Shinku sees the soldiers practicing and praises them for it and tells them that they are really good. Ricotta goes to Eclair and tells her that it's time to eat, but she tells them that it's time for her training and she needs to wait for a few moments. Shinku arrives and tells her that he will be her opponent for this duel. This makes Lorraine agree to this duel and calls everyone to witness this duel between the hero and a soldier. Eclair questions what weapon he is going to use, and Shinku starts a sword show and tells her that he is going to use the sword. This makes Eclair really pissed and tells everyone that he is making fun of her. As they start their duel, Ricotta and Lorraine sit together and enjoy their match. Some time later, they start talking that Eclair and Shinku make a great couple and they can't wait to see their wedding. Their duel starts and they clash their swords together. This causes their swords to break into two because of the impact. Eclair gets shocked by what happened and feels cold. This makes Shinku get close to her and puts her hand on her forehead to check if she has a cold. This makes her embarrassed and she punches the heck out of her and knocks her out. After that beating, Shinku tells her that even his mother never punched him this much. After this, they move to the forest and encounter Yuki and Oyakata, who are fishing in the river. Shinku joins her and starts fishing as well. While Yuki is preparing dinner, Shinku questions why is she always so serious all the time, to which Oyakata answers that she is not serious, and she tells Shinku that this time there is going to be a great war and all the villagers and Millie have great hopes for him. Shinku agrees to it, and while he is speaking, his pole gets a fish, and he uses his full strength to get the fish out of the river. He throws it to Vicky and asks her if she could cook it for them, and she agrees. While she is cooking the fish, Oyakata asks Shinku if he is from the other world, and Shinku tells her that he is from Earth and he has his parents waiting for him. She further asks him how long has it been since he got here. This question strikes a nerve and Shinku starts crying while he remembers how long it has been since he got here. While he is crying, their fish get completely cooked and they start eating. The scene then shifts back to Vicky, who is depressed on Shinku's departure. Her mother yells at her to get back to her usual self and orders her to go and get some groceries on the way. Vicky questions when Shinku will come back and open a fortune app on her phone. We are sent back to the palace where Millie questions Lawrence about Shinku's health, and Lawrence answers that he is perfectly healthy and okay. Lawrence further mentions that he is on his way to the concert hall. Millie wants to join him, and the secretary tells her that after her dinner plans she can go and meet with Shinku. This makes Millie really happy, and she mentions that she will complete her work quickly. Hearing this, Millie's assistant orders the maids to clean Shinku and further mentions that she cannot let any filth near Millie. After his shower therapy, he is dressed and goes to see Millie. Princess's bodyguard tells her that Shinku is here and she orders him to enter while saying good evening to him. They sit together and Millie pours tea for him. While talking, she apologizes to him for getting him here, to which Shinku tells her that it's okay since Ricotta is already trying to find a way to get him back to Earth. This makes Millie feel at ease. After this, he questions Millie why she chose him. Millie tries to ignore the question and Shinku tells her that it's okay if she wants to keep it a secret. But she questions Shinku if he knows what star reading is. Shinku tells her that he has no idea what that is, and she explains that with this he can find out the future and do a lot of things. She further explains that she saw him in the mirror with the help of star reading, and she was shown a metal castle where he and a lot of their peoples were having a competition. He was the smallest guy there and was working really hard, and because of that he was chosen for this mission. Shinku explains that in the metal castle she saw him in an acrobatic arena where he was competing and got second place there. He further questions her if she saw him crying when he got second place. Millie agrees and praises him for his victory. He thinks that she got her here because of pity, but Millie clears the air by telling him that she summoned him because he is super hardworking. This makes him feel good, and the scene shifts to Lorraine and Oyakata. Their Lawrence constantly praises Oyakata for her skills and her help. This makes Oyakata explain to Lorraine that her work is not done yet since Yuki's start reading is still not done yet. She further explains that she has a bad feeling about Leon's army and she needs to stop it. The scene then shifts back to Shinku and the prince, who are planning to go on a date today. Millie tells her to meet her at the back gate tomorrow and she starts blushing. We are then shown Leon, who is really depressed about her blurry start reading and can't seem to understand what is going on with her. We are then shown a glimpse of her start reading of the next 30 days where Shinku and Millie are shown dead in their battle armor. Leon swears that she is not going to let this happen. While she is planning, we are shown Millie who is trying to complete her work as soon as she can because she has a date with Shinku. After she finishes her work, she rushes to Shinku and who is playing with Harlan. Millie praises him to get the affection of all the females. As she is praising him, Harlan grabs his face and starts munching on him. Shinku asks for help and after he gets his head back, they continue their date. They go to a secret garden where Millie and Shinku play frisbee. They enjoy their little game. They rest under the tree and Shinku notices that Millie is really happy. They start talking about Shinku's ring and he questions why he can't summon his sword and Millie tells him that it will take some time. She further explains that all the nations have their own special weapons. For example, Galit has 2 weapons. One of them is a mechanical battle axe and the other is the holy sword. Shinku questions if he needs to return it when he will go back to Earth. Millie tells him that yes, he has to which Shinku asks if they need his help in the future, will they call him? Millie tells him that she will only summon him if she needs help. This makes Shinku feel at ease and starts petting her. Millie gets startled at first, but after giving Shinku the permission to pet him, she enjoys his warm touch. The scene then shifts to Eclair, who is bathing in the river with Yuki and Ricotta. They question Eclair about her warrior adventures and she tells her that it is a secret and they get really depressed. On the other side, we are shown Leon Majesty, who is commencing the announcement of war and puts the holy sword as the reward for whoever wins the war. Everyone gets excited to watch the war as well as gifts for participating in the war. Shinku wonders that this is a pretty big risk for the both villages and Yuki tells him that this is true. If the Biscotti village loses, they will lose both the platinum and the holy sword. The Lawrence tells Emilda to read the war notice, and on the terms it's mentioned that the weapons will be placed with them for 60 days and Leon can use these weapons however she likes. This makes Millie really worried and asks the other for suggestions on what she can do right now. On the other side, many warriors have captured a Galit warrior and starts interrogating him. The warrior tells them that she is not a spy, to which Yuki asks her why she is here. She tells him that she had a secret order by his leader to deliver a letter to the hero Shinku. Shinku agrees to his request and goes along with him. On the way, he sees Gaul and asks him why he is here before the war, to which he replies that he and Godwin both reject the suggestion for the war because this will cause great disaster for both the villages. He further tells him that he wants to stop his sister in this decision any way possible because he really likes the Biscotti village because of its people and their delicious food. Gaul asks Shinku for his help and he agrees to this and they leave. But before leaving, Shinku asks Gaul if Millie and Leon were friends in the past. In reply, Gaul tells him to ask Emilda for the answer. The scene then shifts to Leon, who is going with her general and tells him that she doesn't expect from his brother, but his general tells him that this time Godwin is also with him and they leave. Back to Shinku. Emilda tells him that both Leon and Millie were great friends in the past and they helped each other in the progress of the both villages. But after becoming the ruler of the village, she suddenly changed. Shinku asks Emilda about the reason, but she tells him that she doesn't know. This makes Shinku confirm the assumption about Gaul and decides to find out what happened between them. Back at the village, all of the villagers are happy to see Millie, who is going to give her answer to Leon's war offer, and will she risk the holy swords. She greets everyone for hearing her and gives her final answer that she will win the war and will keep both of their weapons. Both the villagers and warriors get excited to war and tell the princess that they do their best to keep the pride and respect of the kingdom. Millie then shows her holy sword and proudly smiles at her kingdom as she thanks them for their support. The next day, all the warriors arrive and Izumi gets ready for the war. He texts Vicky that he is going on a competition and she tells him to do his best. Millie arrives and asks the villagers if they slept well and thanks them for arriving here. She explains the strategy to them and explains that there are going to be 3 teams in this mission. One of the teams will stay here to guard the palace in the village and the other 2 teams will stay on the front lines to fight the Galit's army and help the hero. She further tells the army to inform her if they are sick before the war so the medical squad could heal them before the fight. After this, they prepare for war. The broadcast team of Biscotti village informs the villagers that their army consists of 2,000 warriors who are being led by Lorraine. On the other side, the Galette village's broadcast team mentions that their army is over 30,000 warriors and they are being led by Gaul. Before the fight begins, the generals start talking about Oyakata, the night assassin who has exceptional powers capable of destroying the whole army in one blow. This scares some of the warriors, and after seeing this, the general stops her and tells her to focus on the battle. The scene then shifts to Leon, who is looking at the future where Shinku and Millie are shown dead. Leon tells the general and her assistant that she needs to get the holy swords and help Millie from her future. The general gives the idea of the war and to get the chance to win the weapons, thus saving both of them. Leon agrees to this proposal and then we are shown the present. On Shinku's side, Yuki and Oyakata tease Shinku for being clumsy and remember the first day when Shinku got here. Yuki remembers how he ripped off Eclair's clothes the first time they met and teased him, thus making Shinku cry and feel depressed. But their friendly moment is short-lived as the war begins and Yuki tells Shinku that they have to go to the headquarters to win the war. Both of the armies collide together and Eclair tells Izumi to follow her lead. They move forward, but they get shocked to see some warriors prompting them to kill Shinku. Before he could do anything, he and Eclair get ambushed by a barrage of arrows. Shinku uses his weapon to launch a massive blow at the arrows and destroys the arrow. The warrior attacks Shinku, but their attack is of no use since Yuki uses her wind arrow to knock out the warriors and turns them into animals. Shinku thanks Yuki for her help and moves on. On the other side, Eclair gets surrounded by some warriors and they order her to surrender since they want Shinku. They also reveal that they are hired by Leon and she will give them a great deal for getting the platinum sword. But Eclair doesn't surrender and launches an electric blow at them and turns them into animals. They regroup and move forward to the headquarters. As they continue, the broadcast team informs the villagers about Oyakata's and Yuki's great performance as they knock out 100 seconds of warriors in a single blow. On the other side, Millie is shown sitting in her cabin where Violet arrives and tells her that she has a letter from Leon. Millie gives her permission to enter, but as soon as she enters the cabin, she knocks out all the guards there and apologizes to Millie for her insolence. Here, Violet gets shocked to see that Millie is not here and Ricotta is in her place dressed like her. Ricotta apologizes to her before the maids beat the heck out of Violet. Ricotta then sends a signal to Millie and Shinku, which makes Millie question that Leon must be hiding something from her. The scene then shifts to Leon, who is worried about Millie and Shinku and how she can save them from their terrible future. Rouge informs Leon that Violet has lost and the mission is about to fail. Leon replies that she needs to do something to save Princess Millie. On the other hand, Gaul and Godwin are riding their Selkle towards the battlefield, where Gaul tells Godwin that he is impressed by his loyalty and for always being so supportive with him. During the conversation, Moore asks Gaul if he is happy with this battle. Gaul replies that he is not, but he has to fight for Galit and his sister Leon. The second batch fights hard with each other and the commentators say that the battle is going wild as the Biscotti side wins the battle. Another group of the Biscotti army is being led by Brioche. Brioche with her powerful strikes and slashes is decreasing the numbers from batch 3. The Galit army tries to resist and attack her, but she uses a powerful attack against them. The Galit army gets the scares and they run off. Brioche says that she was just having fun. But then a Biscotti knight approaches her telling her that they need her help at some other location where they are losing. As Brioche tries to leave, a Galit general intervenes and says that it's been a long time since we've met. The general then tells her to continue her battle with him. Brioche accepts, but soon Lorraine comes forward and tells Brioche to let him take care of this battle. The general also accepts to battle with Lorraine and Brioche backs off. Leon's general tells Lorraine that it is of great honor to fight with each and after all they are from the same lineage of family. They then make their stance and dash towards each other and start their fight with a powerful blow. Meanwhile, Gaul is attacking the Biscotti's army and is decreasing a big number of the Biscotti army. The Genoese girls are fighting the battle too and they are not giving any chance to the Biscotti army. Moir makes a head tap on one of the soldiers and he changes into a furball. She then says now it's up to Godwin. Godwin launches a big attack that makes a huge blast, removing a number of opponents. With the help of the other maids, Ricotta is ready to leave towards Millie. Ricotta is riding Harlan and she uses her seal power to make Harlan fly. As Harlan is flying over them, Vert launches arrows towards Ricotta and Harlan. Harlan dodges all the arrows with its agility and speed. Vert then launches a direct hit towards Ricotta where Ricotta tries to block it with her gun but couldn't hold it much. The arrow hits Ricotta, due to which all of her clothes get ripped off. As Vert is happy about hitting Ricotta, a javelin flies towards her and hits her, ripping all of her clothes too. The javelin is from Emilio, who is backing up Ricotta as she flies past them. Harlan catches Ricotta on her back again and they fly straight towards their destination. Ricotta says that they should reach Princess Millie as quick as possible, but before that we need some clothes. Shinku, Eclair and Princess Millie reach the fort where Leon is staying. The Galit army men are protecting the place. As they see Shinku and the others approach, they make a defensive stance and point their rifles towards them. Shinku then asks Eclair if they have rifles in this world too. Eclair reveals that they do and they act like explosives. A soldier aims his rifle towards Shinku and shoots at him. Shinku prepares himself to directly hit the rifle bomb that is approaching him. He then uses his stick to deflect the bomb towards the sky. The bomb blows with a bang in the sky. Princess Millie and Eclair are impressed by this act. Eclair then jumps off towards the defensive line of Galit army and uses her knives to attack them, clearing the path to enter Leon's headquarters. The reporters reveal that the Biscotti army is winning as they are about to enter the headquarters. Rouge is worried about Leon because Leon is trying to protect Princess Millie, but everything is going differently. The scene shifts to Leon's dream where Millie is standing on a big rock floating in the sky where Leon is also standing. Millie is crying and asking as to why Leon had killed her and what was her fault. And there is a beast-looking demon behind Leon as Leon is saying she didn't kill her. From the battlefield, Brioche is leading her group where she tells one of his captains to lead the army for now as she is going to leave for something important. Yukikaze and Brioche ride further away from the army where Yukikaze is thinking about the past when they were kids and they were crying as the world was in chaos and humans were fighting against demons. Shinku, Eclair and Millie reach the inside of the headquarters where Leon talks with them through a transmission. She tells them she will fight them with her holy weapon, the axe. She tells Shinku to come fight with her on top of the headquarters by using the lift. As the transmission ends, she gets all sad and depressed. Rouge asks for her well-being. But then as soon as the lift moves towards the top, she gets shocked to see Millie on it. She thinks that the dream she had is about to become real. Millie is trying to talk with Leon, but soon Rouge attacks her instead of Leon to avoid their fight. Rouge asks her to punish her after the fight, but for now asks Millie to fight her instead. Rouge then tries to take the rings of holy weapon from her to stop the battle, but Millie throws her away, and with flashing light the holy sword appears in Millie's hand. Millie then asks Leon that they were really good friends and she was a really good person, then why did she change all of a sudden and why she became her enemy. Meanwhile, Shinku and Eclair are down there worrying about Millie. Shinku then tries to find a way to get up there. Shinku finds a wall from where they can get up there. As Shinku is trying to climb the wall, Eclair tells him that Millie ordered them to not follow her before leaving for the battle. But then as she sees Shinku going up, she says she is coming too. The weather is getting worse second by second. The conversation between Millie and Leon is about to continue, but then suddenly the ground starts to shake and the whole area breaks into pieces. The place where they are standing starts to levitate into the sky just like Leon's dream. Then the clouds start circling around and a portal opens up in the sky. The portal reveals a demon's eye as it is trying to come out of the portal. The portal gets bigger and bigger as the demon is getting revealed. Leon is getting all worried as her dream is coming true. Millie then looks at a sword stabbed inside the demon's head where she inquires why there is a sword stuck in its head and maybe that's the reason it's angry and trying to attack us. The demon gets fully out of the portal. It looks like a beast with multiple tails that look like tentacles. The beast tries to attack Millie, but Leon blocks the attack off. Leon blocks a number of attacks from the beast and then turns to Millie to ask if she is okay. But then suddenly tentacles from behind are about to attack her and soon Millie comes in front of her to save her, but she gets stabbed by them. Millie gets flying off with blood splashing out of her, making Leon speechless. A purple spirit then takes Millie away. Leon gets really angry and depressed and uses her powers to extremes to save Millie. Attacks the beast while dodging it and then lands a big blow on it. But the beast strikes back with its tail. She tries to block it but fails and falls to the ground. The demon beast then walks away from the place. Shinku and Eclair suspect why it is trying to get away from here, and then they reach the top where they approach an injured Lee. Ruff tells them it was the demon that did this to her and the beast has taken Millie with her. The purple spirits are surrounding Millie as the holy sword is making a protective barrier around her. If the holy sword is gone, then Millie would be killed by the demon beast. Shinku says that he will not let something bad happen to her. The scene shifts to Millie inside a world where there is a white dock spirit that says to her that it is sorry for her children to attack her like this. Eclair reveals to Shinku that the protective field in which they didn't die is now gone and that if they die for real. But Shinku is steadfast in saving the princess. Shinku and Eclair then jump on Shinku's hoverboard and they move towards the demon beast. As Shinku is trying to make the best and fastest way towards Millie, the purple spirits attack them, but Eclair takes care of them. As they move, a number of rocks fly towards them, but Shinku saves Eclair and he gets hit by them, causing some blood loss for him. On seeing this, Eclair jumps off the board and uses her seal strike to give the board a push to increase its speed, and she falls off, telling Shinku that she will meet her when this is over, so go on ahead and save the princess. Shinku then rushes towards Millie where the spirits attack him. Shinku fights the spirits off, but then his knives break by a heavy attack from the spirits. Another attack happens towards him, but luckily Shinku blocks it using a shield. Shinku then thinks about his past when his parents came to cheer for him at the championship and Rebecca gave him a t-shirt and her good luck charm so that he could win. But then he lost, so this time he yells that he won't lose this time and will get back Millie. Millie in the other plane is talking with the fox spirit, who tells her that she used to live in the forest with her child when all of a sudden a sword struck her child and he became a very evil monster which also killed her too. Ever since the child is crying and has been in pain for so long. Millie gets all depressed hearing the story. Millie sees the child that is stabbed by the sword crying in that plane and is asking Millie to kill him to relieve of this pain. But Millie rejects the idea and says that she will save him. As Shinku approaches her, the protective barrier around her disappears and she pops up in his hand. She tells Shinku about the story of this spirit and asks him to help the spirit. But she is not wearing any clothes, so Shinku asks her to wear some clothes first. Then the holy sword summons clothes on her body. The platina ring appears in Shinku's hand, and with flashy lights the platina sword appears out of the ring. Shinku and Millie, by using the power of the holy sword and platina sword, move towards the red dark sword stabbed inside the spirit's body. The purple spirits try to stop them, but they are no match for Shinku and Millie's weapons. Shinku reaches the red sword and uses his full might to pull it out of its body. As Millie encourages him, he manages to remove it. The spirit gets back to its original appearance but is still bleeding from the sword's injury. Millie is carrying it as Shinku is holding the red sword. The red sword starts to act weird and tries to get a hold of Shinku just like Spirit, but then Leon appears and uses her arrow to hit the sword out of Shinku's hand on time. Millie then asks if he is okay. Shinku replies that he is good, and she says that we need to leave to help this spirit or else it will die soon. As Shinku and Millie are about to leave, Ricotta and Eclair, riding Harlan, approach them. They all get on Harlan and they travel towards the headquarters. Shinku asks how Eclair and Ricotta meet. Ricotta reveals that she saw Eclair falling from the sky, so she approached her to help, and they saw Shinku too fighting the beast. Meanwhile, Brioche and Yukikaze appear at the location where the red sword is. Brioche and Yukikaze then have a discussion that Shinku and Millie are strong. That's why they were able to defeat this sword's doing. Moreover, now they are going to start their real work, to seal the sword so that it doesn't do any other damage. Yukikaze summons a number of foxes with knives to help Brioche and her seal the sword. Yukikaze then attacks with thousands of seal spell knives to seal the red sword. The knives get stabbed on the tentacles, and then Brioche uses her special attack to smack the red sword to help with the process of sealing. The red sword gets sealed and the whole weather gets back to normal. At the headquarters, Shinku and the others all standing there noticing the weather. The white fox spirit is good too, and all of them are okay and happy because the battle ended. Brioche tells Yukikaze to leave to give a report to the princess about the sword sealing being a success. The scene shifts to Yukikaze giving her report to Millie that they have taken care of the red sword. Yukikaze moreover says to Millie that she is a really strong princess and she also saved the fox spirit. She then tells Millie to give the fox spirit to her and she will take care of her until he gets better. Millie lends the fox spirit to her and Yukikaze replies that she will take good care of her. Meanwhile, Rouge is taking care of Leon, who was injured in the battle. Leon then orders Rouge to get all the media as she wants to announce something to the people. Leon then announces to everyone that the battle ended in a dispute because of the monster that attacked them. So for now everyone must return, but she will announce another battle soon that will be fun and entertaining unlike this one, and both kingdoms will get profit out of it. Leon says that she will try to be a good ruler from now on and serve both the countries for the best. The Galite and Biscotti army both get excited listening to this. Leon also announces a concert for the night in which Princess Millie will sing. Princess Millie and everyone else are preparing for the concert. Lorraine is having a discussion with Shinku outside about the battle and gives his thanks to Shinku for saving the kingdom. Shinku replies with an apology because Eclair fell from the sky due to his mistake and got injured. Lorraine says that she is a strong knight and she is not that weak, so stop worrying about such stuff. Soon Eclair approaches them telling Lorraine that he is needed in a security meeting. Lorraine says his bye to Shinku and leaves. Shinku is left with Eclair, where he asks Eclair if she is okay and how is her health. A little shy replies that she is good and counters by asking if he is okay. Eclair then asks if he has eaten anything. Shinku replies no, he didn't. Then Eclair asks if they can eat together. Shinku replies with sure, why not. By the tree, Ricotta and Yukikaze are peeping on their conversation and enjoying themselves while feasting. As Shinku and Eclair are having dinner, Eclair tells Shinku that she is thankful that Shinku was there to protect the princess because Eclair alone wouldn't have been able to save her. Shinku responds that she was always protecting the princess before he came, so she is really important to her. Moreover, he will go back to Earth anyways, so it's still up to her to protect the princess. Listening to the going back to Earth part, Eclair makes a sad face. Ricotta and Yukikaze are still eavesdropping on them, saying that Shinku and Eclair can be a really good couple. Soon Gaul and Genoise come there and they all sit together to eat dinner. Gauls is eating a lot without any hesitation and reveals that he is really happy because her sister Leon is happy after a long time. A dog approaches Ricotta with a letter and she leaves, telling that there is some work at the academy. Meanwhile, as Princess Millie is getting ready for the concert, a maid appears and tells her there is a very special guest waiting outside for her. As Millie goes to the point, it is none other than Leon herself. Leon and Millie sit and have a discussion about why Leon was acting that way. Leon reveals to her that she is sorry for what she has done. Millie responds that it's not her fault, after all she was doing it to protect her. Millie tells her she shouldn't take star reading and dreams that seriously. Leon gets embarrassed and asks who told Millie about the dreams she was having. Millie responds that it was her maids. Leon then tells her that she will always try to protect her because she cares for her. Mad she no one else in this world after Millie, and if something happened to her she would not be able to look up to herself. Leon starts crying and Millie makes her feel better and stops her crying. After a while the concert is about to start. Princess Millie starts her singing with an excited display of lights and music. Everybody is enjoying her singing when Shinku grabs Eclair's hand without noticing, and they both get embarrassed when they notice it. Yukikaze tells the fox spirit that Millie is the person that saved him. The fox spirit then glows with lights and uses his ability to summon his mother, who then ascends to heaven. The concert moves on, and even Leon is there this time to listen to her singing, and she is enjoying it too. The next morning, everyone going back to their own towns and places. Biscotti army is going back to Biscotti, and Galite army going back to its own kingdom. Shinku and everyone else are being greeted with joy and excitement by the kingdom's people. Soon Ricotta leaves by saying she has work at the academy. At the academy, the researchers tell Ricotta that they have found a way for the hero to go back to Earth, but the drawback is that he won't be able to come back here and will also forget about everything from this place. At night, Ricotta comes to Shinku's room where she tells him that they have found a way for him to go back, which makes Shinku really happy, but Ricotta starts to cry, revealing that he won't be able to come back here to visit them and will also forget about all of them. This makes Shinku sad too, but he needs to go back too because it's really important for him. Ricotta asks him to not leave them, but Shinku replies that he doesn't have any options. Shinku asks her not to tell any of this to anyone because he doesn't want everyone to be sad for him. He wants to leave everyone happy and smiling, not sad and crying. Princess Millie is all happy that she is going to spend the next day with Shinku. At the barracks, one of the guards asks Eclair, "Is Shinku going back after 2 days?" She replies with frustration by yelling, "How would I know?" The guards laugh it off. Even Brioche and Yukikaze, at their place, are talking about Shinku leaving in 2 days, so they are going to plan something for him. At Leon's place, Gaul asks Leon if he can go visit Shinku because he is going to leave in 2 days. Leon replies with a yes and also tells him to take a gift from her to Shinku. Ricotta tells Millie about finding the way for Shinku to return, which makes Millie a little sad but happy too. The next day, Millie is playing frisbee with Shinku where a pocket watch falls out of his pocket. Millie asks about what kind of an item is that. He responds by saying it's a pocket watch that he won as a second prize from the championship, and it's really important to him. Eclair is waiting for Shinku at the barracks, where he soon comes and tells Eclair to have a sword battle with her. And then he goes to Brioche and Yukikaze, where they reveal to Shinku that it's their job to seal away monsters and demons that roam this land. Shinku asks them to teach the sealing sword technique to him too. After a long day of training, Shinku is riding her Selkle, and Gaul with Genoise comes to him. Gaul gives him the present from her sister, then they spend time with each other arm wrestling. Soon Vert slips and juice gets spilled on Shinku. Gaul and the others give a beating to Vert for the mistake. Gaul then gives an apology and tells Shinku to take a bath. Shinku goes to the bath, but at the signboard he is still thinking about which side is the men's bath, so he picks one up thinking he is accurate and goes inside to get another encounter from Princess Millie. Shinku gets all embarrassed to see her like this, and she is also embarrassed. Soon a maid from door shouts that she had misplaced the bath tags and asks Millie if any man has entered the bath. Millie replies, "No, there's no one except me." Millie then tells Shinku to open his eyes, now she is wearing a towel. They both then take bath together and have a discussion about him leaving. Millie also tells Shinku that he can call her by her real name Millie and not Princess. The next day, Shinku is looking at Leon being all cute and diddly on Millie's lap. As he couldn't believe it's the same Leon, he asks the maid that does they always act like this. Maid responds that Leon loves Millie as her younger sister. After that, Shinku is in a hall with lots of people and Princess Millie is giving a speech. The speech is about Shinku and the party is to celebrate him and his see-off as he is leaving tomorrow. The princess then invites him on the stage to give a speech. Shinku is startled, but Yukikaze pushes him towards the stage. He grabs the mic from Emilda and goes on the stage. He gives a proper speech to everyone and gives his thanks to everyone by calling their names and tells them how big of a help they were to him throughout his journey till this day. The next morning, Princess Millie tells Shinku that they are going to have a farewell party for him. At the farewell, Shinku gives his armor and the ring back to the princess. Princess Millie tells him that he will get it again when he comes back here again. Ricotta is working hard to find way for him to get back here, but Shinku comes to her and she starts crying as she is not able to find any way. Shinku gives her a 4-color pen and a pair of walkie-talkies for her research and also to make her feel better. He says that he will try not to forget anyone. On the way to the summoning circle, he gives a gift to Eclair too, and she says that she will hold it forever. Eclair gets sad and reveals that she knows that he will not return and will forget about her too, but Shinku replies that he will not forget her. When he reaches the summoning circle, Millie is already there waiting for him. Millie then tells him that the summoning circle will work differently now and he will go upwards this time, not downwards. Millie and Shinku are giving their farewells, but Millie starts to cry as she doesn't want him to leave, and looking at her, Shinku also cries. Soon the portal activates and Shinku pushes her away so that she doesn't get caught in the summoning. Millie then tries to grab his hand and confess that she loves her. Shinku replies that he loves her too and he will return. The next morning, Shinku is back on Earth, wakes up in his bed and doesn't remember anything about his last 2 weeks. Rebecca tells him to see a doctor, but he says he'll be alright and will remember it soon. Meanwhile at Biscotti, Ricotta receives a letter from the Academy that they have found a way for the hero to return to Biscotti, but for that there must be something of relation for him to be present at Biscotti. So Ricotta asks Eclair for the gift he gave to her, and then she asks Princess Millie about her gift. Millie responds that he left her a box that he wanted her to open after he was gone. She opens the box to find the watch he won as a second prize. Ricotta gets happy as the stuff can work as a catalyst for his summoning.